Okay. Item 7, we've already dispensed with. Item 9.
Let's do item 6.
Oh, item 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Item 6, AB 4042.
Do pass to appropriations. Block, Hancock, Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. That's 7-0.
7-0, that bill is out. Item 7, that bill is out. Item 9, AB 709, Gibson.
Do pass to judiciary. Liu,
Aye.
Liu, aye. Runner,
No.
Runner, no. Block, Hancock, Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. That's 5-2.
5-2, that bill is out. Item 10, I think we just dispensed with, it's out. Item 12, we're holding over till next week. Item 14, AB 949, Gonzalez.
Do pass to appropriations. Chair voting aye. Runner.
Aye.
Runner, aye. Block, Hancock, Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. That's 7-0.
7-0, that bill is out. Item 15, to be heard. Item 17, AB 1099, Olson.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Chair voting aye. Vice Chair aye. Block, Hancock, Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. Pan.
Mendoza, no. I to no.
Say that again.
Aye to no.
For Mendoza.
Pan not voting. And Pan's not voting, so what do we have?
That's 3, 4, 5, 1.
5-1. Okay, that bill is out. And item 19 was pulled. And we have Assemblymember Holden is here. Is he here? Yes. You have item 3, AB 288.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Members, I appreciate the opportunity to present Assembly Bill 288 this afternoon. I would like to start off by saying I accept the committee's proposed amendments with the following exception. I would like to ask the committee to increase the enrollment cap from 7% to 10%. The goals of AB 288 are: 1, expand access to concurrent enrollment programs for students by specifically authorizing college courses to be offered on high school campuses exclusively to high school students. AB 288 is going to increase exposure to college coursework and college environments for underserved students by authorizing community college districts that have formed partnerships to grant limited priority enrollment to those students, because numerous studies have shown that concurrent enrollment effectively assists marginal achieving students transition into college coursework. AB 288 will accelerate learning for students by creating a framework that allows students to demonstrate competency to take up to 15 units of community college coursework instead of 11 units as part of a dual diploma and degree program. It will also build pathways that fill projected labor market needs, uniquely customized to the student's population to be served. In many cases, career pathways need to be developed in coordination with regional needs instead of a one-size-fits-all approach. Numerous studies, including several conducted by the James Irvine Foundation in California, have shown that concurrent enrollment programs decrease the time that students take to graduate, increase student confidence, increase average GPAs, and increase the likelihood of graduation from college. With these suggestions and the presentation of this bill, we respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Holden, and the committee is happy to accept the amendments as proposed.
Thank you.
Okay, those in support of the bill.
Madam Chair and members, Vince Stewart with the Community College Chancellor's Office on behalf of the Board of Governors. We're one of the co-sponsors of the bill. I would like to start by first thanking the chair and the committee staff and Mr. Holden for striking a balance with the compromise amendments. We're very appreciative of that, and we actually think that we have a better vehicle going forward. Very briefly, I won't repeat what Mr. Holden said about the bill, but we do believe that Both high schools and community colleges will be able to more easily offer dual enrollment programs through this legislation, and will focus on better pathways for high schools and community colleges to help high school students achieve both college and career readiness. We think that this is a balanced measure. There are a lot of checks and balances in terms of the types of students that are served and ensuring that those students actually improve their academic outcomes, are able to hopefully avoid having to get into remedial courses once they go to college, and ultimately are more successful. So with that, we certainly request and encourage your support of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In support.
Thank you. Mark McDonald, McCallum Group, on behalf of the Kern, Los Angeles, Los Rios, Peralta, Pasadena, San Bernardino, San Francisco, West Kern, and Yuba community college districts in support. And I would like to start out with thanking your staff for an excellent analysis and point out at the local level that colleges have identified dual enrollment programs as one of the tools that can be utilized to increase college success. And as is pointed out on page 7 of the analysis, dual enrollment programs are increasing because of the success that has been found not only in other states but in pilot programs here in California. This measure provides some flexibility that local districts have identified in order to increase greater success and build out the local programs that they're working on right now. I would point out there's a lot of good work going on locally currently, and this bill would allow those districts to improve on that work. So we would urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Others in support.
Good morning, Lizette Neverett on behalf of the Community College League of California. Again, I want to thank Assemblymember Holden and the Senate Education Committee for working with us. We're very excited about AB 288, the College and Career Access Program. We believe that this provides 2 important opportunities for both the state and students. The first is that it provides a state an opportunity to ensure that colleges and school districts can have accountable, very structured partnerships that lead to effective career technical education pathways and transfer academic programs. Second, for students, it ensures that they can reduce their time to degree. This saves money for the students and ensures that more students also have an opportunity for college and careers. So we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Others in support of the bill. Please just identify yourselves.
Good morning. Erica Romero on behalf of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities in support.
Thank you.
Brendan Tuig on behalf of EdVoice in support.
Mira Morton on behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce, also in support.
Cindy Hillary on behalf of the 34 rural counties in California in support.
Leilani Aguinaldo Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Aaron Davis on behalf of the California School Boards Association in support.
Good morning, Pamela Gibbs representing the Los Angeles County Office of Education in support.
Jordan Ellison on behalf of the City of Temecula in support.
Leticia Garcia on behalf of Riverside County Schools in support.
Michael Hulsizer on behalf of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools in support.
Kevin Tromer on behalf of the Compton Unified School District in support.
Martha Alvarez on behalf of the San Diego Unified School District in support.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Baker with the California Teachers Association. We had a previous support position on the bill, and I really want to commend Assemblymember Holden and his staff, as well as the Chancellor's Office, for working with us so far on the bill. There are a number of new amendments to the bill. We need an opportunity to digest and process those. We do have some initial concerns with some of the language in the responsibilities it would require of community college faculty that are teaching the courses. We want to make sure that not only does it work for our community college faculty, but K-12 faculty as well, and that it's going to be a process that's going to work for everyone. We very much appreciate the recommendations from staff on the amendments. We need to have some time to process it, and we ask that we have the ability to continue to work with Assemblymember Holden's office as well as the Chancellor's office, and we could certainly work with the committee to try to make sure that the language at the end of the day would work for faculty.
Thank you.
Ron Rapp with the California Federation of Teachers. We continue to have a supportive amended position on this bill. We've been working with Assemblymember Holden and his staff even before this bill was introduced, and I want to thank them for that. We recommended several amendments throughout the process. Many of those were accepted. We still have one sticking point, and that is that community college instructors should not be teaching high school remedial classes. And we've tried to suggest 4 or 5 different amendments to take care of that. None of those have been accepted. I do want to thank the staff for their recommendations related to that section of the bill. As CTA said, we just saw the amendments. We haven't had time to share it with our leadership, but we will continue to raise the issue that community college instructors should not be teaching high school remedial classes on high school campuses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea York on behalf of the California Community College Association for Occupational Education, in support and looking forward to working together with everyone on the amendments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any others in support? Is there opposition to the bill?
Mark Epstein, Director, California Environmental Technology Education Network. We're opposed unless amended. I have 15 years experience working with the environmental career academies that give me some insight. I did speak before the Assembly Higher Education Committee. Really what we're looking to deal with is to include credit by exam and geographic flexibility on these agreements. Since my testimony before the Higher Education Committee, those recommendations and ideas have become part of the bills related to the state coming into conformance with the Federal Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And I would like to quote from the AB 1270 staff analysis on that bill, and it also relates to SB 45, which is Senator Mendoza's bill, which I am disappointed that he's left the room. But in their staff analysis for AB 1270 before the Jobs, Economic Development, Workforce Committee, I will quote, "In developing policies that support innovation-based industries and the timely completion of certificates and 2-year degrees, certain technology and science-based course content should be available for credit by exam on a statewide basis. These credits would not be subject to the current residency requirement of 12 units." This issue has come, we've brought that to you before, most previously with SB 1070. We know that Senator Lave is looking at as far as SB 66. At that time, when we were looking for language to deal with the reform of the articulation agreement process, and Senator Block was chair of Assembly Higher Ed at the committee, Senator Steinberg said, we will deal with it next year. Hasn't been dealt with. I also want to go as far as the staff report, as far as some of the referencing to the mission of the community colleges. One of the things that have come up, and one of the missions of the community colleges is to train the workforce in VOTEC and career technical ed. One of the issues that have been out there for many years is the recommendation, the need to develop an alternative college preparatory sequence to A through G. We feel that that is part of the mission of the community colleges, to be part of that process, as the UC system is the driver of the AG system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lance Gunnarsson. I'm with the California Industrial and Technology Education Association, oldest association of its kind in California. I represent industrial tech teachers throughout the state. And I myself have been an industrial ed teacher for nearly 20 years, so I have some insights here. My organization will oppose the bill unless amended, as my colleague here had suggested. And I'd like to point out a couple of amendments that we find troublesome and interesting. One is the limitation clause on geographic area. It seems to me that a program of study that is being taught in our high schools, say in advanced manufacturing and machining, that does not happen to have a community college near it, but has an excellent program, the student that is taking that class should be able to transfer outside of that geographical area to another outstanding program somewhere in our state. I'll give you one example. We have a program in the Channel Islands High School in Oxnard that has been allowed access to educational information for their marine biology class at Monterey College. However, that college is not within their geographic location, so the students who are allowed access cannot actually get credit for taking that class. That seems a little off. And also, I think that maybe this is a little interesting too, because this particular statement was removed by the Assembly Higher Ed Committee, only to be added in later by the Assembly Education Committee. I think that might have been their trouble with this as well. It really should be a little more like our UC and CSU systems. You take an advanced placement class there anywhere in the state, and you can go to any UC or CSU, and I think we should have that with our community colleges. I'd also like to point out how this, if amended properly, could go a long way to fixing some problems in a bill we had 10 years ago, say, and $1 billion later with SB 70. The intent of that bill was to provide policies and procedures that were uniform, allowing students to transfer seamlessly from high school to community college. What we got instead for all the money we spent on that were studies, one-off studies and demonstration projects, seen little other. And as a result, we're aware that Senator Leahy's SB 66 bill is coming up, and our organization will be looking very closely at how we would like to respond to that. We think that as amended, we would like to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other opposition to the bill? Are there any questions from members? Senator Monning and Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and the Assembly member for bringing this forward. I'm just curious your response, the concern raised by the CFT representative about community college instructors providing remedial coursework in high school.
I'll let chancellors, if you'd like to.
Absolutely. So, Senator Monning, one of the things that we would like to achieve with AB 288 is to really address the issue of basic skills and remedial instruction for students who come to community colleges or post-secondary generally and have to go into basic skills instruction, particularly in math and or English or both. We know those students, and 3 out of every 4 students that come to us have to do that their level of support, or their rates of success rather, are quite low. And if they come to us ready to do college level work, their rate of success almost triples. So the idea with 288 is to offer an opportunity for the high school faculty and the community college faculty to come together primarily in the 11th grade when you have the new Smarter Balanced Assessments, which do formative assessments in the 11th grade to see if students who are not proficient in math or English, if there's some sort of an intervention that we could do collaboratively in that 12th grade year or perhaps the 10th grade year to get them to where they need to be. So I don't think this is an issue of simply having the student retake the high school course that they just failed, or to just lift a community college course and place it on the high school campus. It's really having the faculty come together and figure out what is the appropriate intervention for those students, since they really will only have a year or maybe 2 to get ready. So that's the intent behind that provision.
And I would think that objective is one that presumably is shared by all. My guess is part of the concern, though, would be the potential for displacement of a high school instructor by a community college instructor. Is there any way to ensure that that's not an unintended consequence of this?
Absolutely. There is language in the bill that explicitly states that, 1, you cannot displace adult community college students, so we can't make it harder for those students to get the courses that they need by virtue of AB 288, nor can you displace either high school faculty or community college faculty by offering these courses. So we really put in some hold harmless provisions to ensure that this is additive and it's not taking away from the core mission of the community college or creating an issue on the high school side.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, with your permission, could I just ask the CFT representative to maybe address my question as well? With that assurance, are there other concerns from CFT?
Madam Chair, Senator. Our concern is more about the qualifications of community college instructors in teaching high school adolescents on high school campuses as it relates to remedial classes. We represent 25,000 community college instructors. They are very staunchly opposed to that. They don't believe that they are qualified to do that. They don't believe that they have the knowledge of adolescents specifically, as well as the classroom management skills for those types of classes. And so that's our concern, rather than the displacement of high school teachers. We're fine with the language that that's in the bill that addresses that, but it's more the qualifications of those instructors teaching those remedial classes on a high school campus.
Thank you, but you would agree, I would think, that a community college instructor could be helpful to a high school instructor in collaborating, developing remedial curriculum designed to help them be successful in the community college.
I will defer to my colleague from the CTA. I know that they have an issue with that, and she has greater knowledge related to the requirements, restrictions, et cetera, related to that issue. So I'm going to defer to her, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
Yes, is she in the room? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Baker.
I am little, and I know sometimes it's hard to see.
Around.
Jennifer Baker with the California Teachers Association. Again, this is, I do want to clarify, the Chancellor's Office and Assemblymember Holden's office was very diligent in collaborating with us to ensure that no one would be displaced from the K-12 side or the community college side. So that issue for us is completely addressed, and we're appreciative of the results. What we do have a concern with is one of the new recommended amendments in regard to the collaboration between the K-12 and community college faculty. We certainly understand philosophically the goal to try to ensure that the student has what they need, absolutely. The dilemma that we have, and this is why we have to have an internal conversation to see how we can try to rectify the issue, is if you're having a community college instructor come ahead of time to collaborate and perhaps change curriculum, that's outside of the purview of how you would teach a community college course. So in the community college system, the faculty has academic freedom. They put together their courses that are remedial. So if they teach a community college course on the community college campus and it's a remedial course, students come, they take the courses, and they go. And so idealistically, that same process would happen at the K-12 level if they're teaching a community college remedial course. The new question is, if you're having them collaborate with their K-12 colleagues, could that change the curriculum that the community college instructor would be changing in their course? And should the community college instructor have to do that if they know what should be taught for the community college course? We do understand the overall goal of what you're trying to achieve, and we do want to be helpful. We're not sure exactly if the language that's included as recommended may work exactly, but we are committed to having a conversation to see if we can come to terms with that. But we do ask that if we're not able to come to terms with that section, that we be able to have an opportunity to try to see where we can go from there.
It's fair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. That answers my question. Thank you.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Assemblymember Holden, I just want to thank you for bringing this bill forward. I am very, very, very excited about it. We need to find pathways for our young people to be successful. As alluded to by a couple of folks, SB 66 was my bill on career technical education, which is now a 2-year bill. This bill goes so far in helping make sure our young people have a pathway to success and to their career. So I'm extremely excited. I would ask the opposition, who seems to be wanting to help out, please, let's not let perfect get in the way of good, and we need to find more ways for our young people to be successful. And I think this bill does that. So let's continue to work together and make sure that that can happen, because I would hate for our young people to suffer because there's some maybe philosophical differences, or maybe this is a new way of doing things and it's maybe a little uncomfortable for some folks. Let's figure it out, because I think this is a fantastic opportunity for our young people. Thank you. And that's a motion to move the bill.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Would you like to close?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the committee and members for their comments, and also to reiterate our commitment to continue to work with, and I won't call them opposition, but I will say that CTA and CFT have been very committed to staying connected with us on this, and we have tried to reciprocate. We ask that you move the bill out today in support, but we also are continuing to look to some guidance from the committee and having an open door with us as we continue our dialogue to draw upon you as a resource as we move our way through this process.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So the bill has been moved. Let's call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Blue.
Aye.
Blue, aye. Runner.
Aye.
Runner, aye. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye.
7-0, that bill is out. Thank you very much. Assemblymember Eggman. You have item 15, AB 982, a week later. We missed you last week, but I'm sure it's better this week.
Well, it is different this week because this is a very small bill that somehow got caught up in a very large bill last week. So AB 982 simply expands the kinds of agencies that can refer homeless children into subsidized childcare. That's all this bill does. Currently, it has been, so this one authorizes local education agencies, Head Start programs, emergency and transitional shelters that are not currently able to refer kids into subsidized childcare who happen to be homeless. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Bill's, is there any support for the bill?
There is support.
Thank you.
There's a lot of support. Some of them had to leave.
Right. Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California chapter. We strongly support this bill. We think homeless students should be included in this category for subsidized care.
Thank you.
I'm Kim Lewis, representing the California Coalition for Youth, a statewide advocacy organization representing runaway and homeless youth providers in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leilani Aguinaldo Yee on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Okay.
Hi, Kathy Sunderling with the County Welfare Directors Association, also in support.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. Any others in support? Is there any opposition to the bill? The committee didn't receive anything in writing, and the bill has been moved. Any questions, comments from members? Okay. Let's call the roll.
Do pass to Human Services. Blue.
Aye.
Blue, aye. Runner. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Mendoza. Mendoza, aye. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye.
You have 5 votes sufficient for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Assemblymember Garcia, you have one item, item 2, AB 146.
Good morning. AB 146 is the winner of my second annual There Ought to Be a Law contest. It was brought to me by Leslie Hyatt's 5th grade class from Bell Gardens Elementary. Mrs. Hyatt's class traveled all the way to Sacramento last March to testify in support of their bill in the Assembly Education Committee. When these kids tried to research the Mexican repatriation, they had a hard time finding information. As a result, they proposed AB 146, which would encourage the inclusion of President Hoover's executive order to repatriate Americans of Mexican origin in their social science curriculum. It's estimated that nearly 1 million U.S. citizens were illegally deported to Mexico. Over the years, we have passed legislation to teach our kids about historic events such as the Holocaust and the Japanese internment. In a state where 38% of the population is Latino and home to many successful Mexican Americans, it's important that we remember to teach our students about this travesty that occurred in California. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. In support of the bill.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, I'm Isabel Garcia representing the California Teachers Association. And CTA believes or supports curricula that addresses the values of our society and promotes respect for diversity and cooperation. And we think this bill helps add to that by including important information in the next revision of the curriculum frameworks for history, social science about the deportation to Mexico during the Great Depression of citizens and lawful permanent residents. And for these reasons, we ask for your support.
Thank you very much. Any others in support? Is there any opposition to the bill? The committee did not receive any in writing.
Move the bill.
The bill has been moved. Any questions or comments from members? Senator Pan.
Sorry, just a brief. I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm going to support the bill. I have to admit, I always have a little concern about trying to mandate specific things in the curriculum because we're not looking at the entire curriculum. I still feel like I have to say that as an educator, but I certainly appreciate what you're doing. And the fact that the Board of Education is already incorporating some of this is also very helpful, and I see that the language exercise sort of asks the board to do that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other comment from members?
Yeah.
The bill has been moved. Let's call the roll.
Dupass to appropriations. Blue.
Aye.
Blue, aye. Runner. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Mendoza.
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye. That's fine. Thank you.
You have 5 votes sufficient for passage. We'll leave the roll open for our absent members. We have one more author. He's on his way. I heard that from someplace.
Has to be.
You can't leave. You'll need your vote. Oh, my God. Well, you know, Mr. DeBob, you should call him. Yeah, right, and I don't. And he won't get the bill out without his sign. No, well, he won't get. We can hold the roll open. You want to? What time is your? 12. 5 minutes. Well, I can hold the roll open for you and come back.
Yeah, you are. Those are my directions. I was told you're taking it, and I get to remove my opposition. So you should be happy with me today.
Because of the,